Hey, it's mango season. Let's make us some mango wine. Hi, I'm Charles, and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Of course, as always, if you like what you see here, please click on the subscribe button, and I will try and do one of these on a more regular basis. One of the first things we need to do is we need to extract the mango flesh away from the pit and skin. So we'll go ahead and slice up one and begin the process of cutting around the pit. Try to get on the other side. If you hit the pit, just angle around it. And let's see if we can liberate as much mango as we possibly can. There we go. Let's go ahead and score our mango without cutting into the skin. And then we can extract the mango pieces rather easily at this point. And do the same for the other side. With regards to the slim pieces that we had, we want to go ahead and remove those from the skin. And then we can just cut those up into small chunks. We'll get all these into a straining bag, and I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the mangoes, and we'll get on to the next step. All right, that is that. Get these into the last straining bag. Let's go ahead and rough chop a handful of raisins. I mean, if you miss a few and they're still whole, no big deal. And let's get those into the straining bags. All right. Move this back a bit. Now our mangoes are in our bags. What we can do at this point is we can go ahead and just give them a light mash. Well, give them a mash. Kind of break them up a little bit. I mean, I could have also just thrown everything into a food processor or a blender. Hell, even a stick blender would have done just as well. And with that done, we can now go ahead and bring our water and tea bag mixture up to a boil. We can go ahead and pour a little bit of the water into our small pan for our tea, and the remaining gallon of water into our big pot. Turn this on medium, turn the big one on high. We can go ahead and drop in our tea bag. Go ahead and give that a cover. And we can just go ahead and cover our big pot and let's just wait for that to boil. 1. Well, now that our water has come up to a nice good rolling boil and our tea bag has been simmering along quite well, we can now do a couple of things. First things we need to do is we need to add our 3½ cups of sugar. And go ahead and stir that in. In fact, while we're doing the stirring, we can go ahead and add our tea bag mixture, which is our tannin substitute. Go ahead and stir that in. Since we're at it, we can also add our acid blend / lemon juice / whatever will do the job. Get that in there. And last but not least, we can go ahead and start adding our mango pulp. Get that in there. Get that in there. No point in wasting any of it. Get that in there. The mango's in there. Sugar's in there. Tannin mixture's in there. Lemon juice mixture's in there. Got our raisins in there as well, which is acting as, whether you like it or not, our yeast nutrient. We can now go ahead and let this come down to room temperature. I'm going to turn off the stove first to make it a whole lot easier for it to do that. And we will now wait for it to come down. All right. Now that the mango juice has come down to room temperature, I did a quick gravity reading and I'm coming in at 1.070, which is going to be pretty, not high enough, because we're talking about an alcohol level of about really less than 10%. I think I want something just a little bit stronger than that, so I'm going to add a ½ cup of sugar and then take another reading. All right, ½ cup of sugar later, and we've got a gravity reading of 1.080, which should bump our alcohol potential ABV to, it's over 10%. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say it's closer to maybe 11%. I mean, it's doable, but not doable enough. I'm going to go ahead and add yet another ½ cup of sugar, which should bring our total sugar to 4½ cups. With the addition of that second ½ cup of sugar, we're now at 1.090, which is more reasonable. If I could turn this around, that should give us a potential ABV of about... We're going to go ahead and transfer our mango juice mixture into our primary fermenter so that we can go ahead and add our pectin. So the first thing we're going to do is transfer our mango pulp. And if I'm lucky, I can do this without spilling it all over the kitchen sink. There we go. Put that aside. Now I want to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon, I'm sorry, 3/4 of a tablespoon of peptic enzyme so that it can go ahead and start the process of breaking down some of that pulp a bit more, extracting a bit more juice in the process. And when we rack it into secondary, to help speed up the process of clearing the wine. Give that a little stir. And let's go ahead and cover that up. And in a moment, we're going to set that on the counter for the next 12 hours while the peptic enzyme does its thing. And then we'll come back and we'll pitch our yeast. All right, the very last thing we need to do now is to convert our mango juice into mango wine. And in order to do that, we need to add our yeast. Adding 1/4 teaspoon of wine yeast. Just go ahead and just sprinkle that around. Put your cap back on. Just put that on the counter where it's nice and dark or away from direct sunlight for the next week. Give it a stir once a day. After that, go ahead and do your first rack. And then after that, once again, you want to rack it every 4 to 6 weeks until your wine is clear and you're ready to drink. 6 months to a year. More emphasis on that year part, and your wine is ready to go.